Hello, everybody. Welcome to PTZOptics Live. I am super excited to have Marty McPadden here with you. How you doing, Marty?
Hey, how are you, Paul?
I am doing great. I'm excited for this 2017 New Year. It's been a fun year for live streaming. For those of you, it's your first time, we live stream every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you hit that like button, well, that helps us donate to charity. Every single week, we donate $20 to charity, plus $1 for every like and subscriber that we get. An additional X factor for how many concurrent viewers we get, up to $250. And last year, we gave $23,000 to the Susquehanna Valley Casa, helping children in need who are stuck in the court system get adoptions. You know, these are children who really need our help. So thank you for doing that, everybody. I wanted to run by this month. So last week we interviewed the Humane Society. And Marty, something I wanted to ask you about, you know, live streaming got a black eye last week. Really did, with some of the Facebook live streaming problems, you know, in the media. And it's really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, a lot of people were upset. And then last week we interviewed the Humane Society, who's literally live streaming rescue missions in dog meat factories in South Korea. So it's a really good people, really bad people world that we live in. Maybe I'll ask you about it. Maybe we won't even have time. But today we got Marty McPadden. Next week is Cerevo. Cerevo's got some really cool, affordable products. They're at CES right now, the Consumer Electronics Show. Can't wait to have them on. X Keys will be the following Friday. And then Osprey Video has been in the video production industry for a long time with some really high-quality capture devices. Also wanted to mention that we have a dedicated channel team at PTZOptics, and our channel team is having a Q1 partner update webinar. We always update our audiovisual integrators and partners in our channel team first. So there's some new products, some new feature updates, including PoE in the new SDI models, Power over Ethernet. So tune in next Tuesday at January 17th, same time on YouTube Live, and you'll get to also meet our engineers and our support team. Marty, let me ask you, where are we in this streaming market?
We are not very far up that curve, probably in that second quadrant there, maybe just going into the third.
Here?
Yeah, right about there. Yeah, right about there. Right about there. Yep,
So
absolutely.
You think we got a lot of room to grow then, huh?
I think so. I think a lot of people think that we're further along, you know,
Yes.
and even though live stream's been around for a long time, I think we're just getting started, Paul, with all this stuff. You know, it's very fast moving. You're in this space, you know, and you know, a lot of people I think that it started with Meerkat and Periscope, and it launched like a year and a half. It'll be 2 years in March, but it goes further back than that. But yeah, I mean, I think we're just getting started. You know, I don't think a lot of people still are on the bandwagon yet. You know, it takes a lot to get on here and do video, you know, and as you know, Paul, you're doing this show every week. You know, live is not the easiest thing in the world from a technical perspective, you know. So I think we're just getting started with this.
I couldn't agree more. Well, we have a lightning round every week, and I want to jump into that so people get to know you before we get into all the techie stuff. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, Marty, we've got 60 seconds. Let me ask you, are you a coffee or a tea drinker?
Coffee all the way. Dunkin' Donuts.
I forgot you're from the Northeast.
Yeah, there you got it.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone, for sure. Has been since the 3G.
Yeah, I agree with you there. How about this, Mac or PC?
Mac. Although I
Mac
cannot
user.
rate PCs, but preferred Mac.
Gotcha. So what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, if I had to pick one, The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. I thought that was
love that
incredible.
book.
Yeah.
I've actually read that. Finally, a book I've read. Favorite movie? Are you a movie guy?
I'm going to go back a little ways. Alien, the original Alien, one of my all-time favorites. I know it's a weird selection, but we took it in film class, so that's one of my all-time favorites.
Cool. All right, last one here. If you could go back in history to any time and watch 24 hours of history unfold, when and where would you go?
I would say the launch of the Macintosh to be behind stage, that 24 hours leading up to the keynote. I'm just
That
pulling
is
that
cool.
there too. I mean, I'm an Apple fan, so
That is cool. See, I get these techie ones you never heard of before. I love it. Okay, so we've got 60 seconds for each topic here, and I want to start off. Give people just an introduction to PodJam TV, your company, this company you are the CEO of.
yes, I run it with my wife. We are a basically production house. We do multimedia production. Live video is something that we're doing a lot of lately. Produce video, audio, podcast, that type of thing. We do event production. We do some social media marketing, but mainly around multimedia. That's really where our business is growing most. And a lot of remote production, like you're doing here, Paul. We do a lot of that as well. In fact, before we came here, I was working with a client just before this show. But I think in 2007, that's where we see the biggest growth. So mainly we are production. I also do stuff with other clients. I do on location work as well. So that's kind of like what we're into here. I also do a show every week as well, and we're going to relaunch next week, hopefully, about video production. But that, in a nutshell, is what PodJam TV is all about.
Cool. So you actually got right on that 60 seconds. Let me let the timer go to 0. So you just got back from Germany. You were at the Leipzig Video Summit. I want to show some pictures. This has kind of been a trend for us. People want to control our cameras from anywhere in the world. They want to do remote broadcasting from anywhere in the world. Explain to me what I'm looking at here.
You are looking at the last presentation of the conference. I was there live, and you saw on the left-hand side Stephen Heywood, and on the right-hand side of me, Mark Rogers. And you're seeing me there. I also did some streaming from the conference, some of the other talks. I used the Macintosh. I used 2 cameras. I used the locked-off camera, and then I used the PTZ camera, which I have here as well. The PTZ camera in a conference environment was tremendous. There's the camera. There you're seeing it there. That was tremendous because what enabled me to do was it was a rather small room, and I had to put the camera off to the side. So I was able to compose shots of the stage and use the secondary camera and use Wirecast to stream. And then I was able to get 3 or 4 different shots, close-ups, mediums, and wide shots. And I was able to switch cameras. And it looked like I had like 5 or 6 cameras there, but I just had 2. And line of sight remote, I used a remote control like this. And I have the camera. I took it off the tripod I had the camera here, but you could tell it's not very big, fits on a tripod. But I'll tell you, in a conference setting, when you're streaming and you're a one-man band, the PTZ for me was perfect. I mean, it was great. I was able to sit in the corner, control everything, and I was out of the way of everybody in the aisle and everything, especially in a smaller area where you don't necessarily have a dedicated camera area. It was fantastic.
So, and one of the trends, and I mentioned this a little earlier, is remote broadcasting, whether it's one person or multiple people. It seems like people are kind of starting to get the technology in their hands to do everything remotely. Can you kind of explain what you guys did and how you pulled it off?
Yes. So I was at the conference live in Leipzig, Germany. Steven actually handled all the streaming. So we connected via Skype. And then Mark came in via Skype. Mark was here in Connecticut. I live fairly close to Mark. Steven's in Pennsylvania. I'm in Germany. So Steven took my signal in via Skype. He sent me back video return of the whole show. I was able to take that video return with audio, put it up on the screen in back of me, and he sent me back mix minus. So everything but myself. The audience, there was a live audience in Germany that was watching me on stage during the show. So basically what we were trying to do was demonstrate how we put a show together and how distances don't matter anymore. And how Steven, being in Pennsylvania, 6 time zones away, was able to produce this whole show and also stream it out onto the website. We actually embedded it on the Leipzig Summit website. And it was great. It was fantastic. And I think people were really, really surprised as far as what was possible with this equipment. Now you're showing the Skype TX unit. I know that's our next topic, and that's what Steven used in his studio to enable this back and forth. So Skype TX is a professional version of Skype, full duplex audio, which made it very, very easy to get good quality sound. And then on my end, I just had regular consumer Skype, so it really didn't matter much on my end. But on Steven's end, since he was compositing the show, Skype TX was fantastic in that use case.
Yeah, we're doing something similar here. Let me just show this little picture here of kind of the way we have our live show set up. So I've got a camera and a microphone, and I'm showing it with a Wirecast gear, but I'm actually just using a live streaming, just a regular PC with Wirecast. On one side, I've got my video production software. On the other side, I'm just doing a desktop capture of Zoom, or whether it's Skype or any video conferencing software. And then this big cloud up here is just anyone in the world who wants to join the live show. And that's exactly how Marty joined.
Exactly. And like what Steven did was, now he has a whole infrastructure setup where he's able to go to multiple channels. So he uses a service called Joycast or Switchboard .live.
Yes.
Redistributes the signal, and you're able to see it on YouTube. Like very similar to what you're doing, Paul. You're going to multiple destinations as well, and it worked fantastic. And the people in Germany, they were able to ask questions live to either myself or Stephen or Mark, and it worked great. It worked really good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. You had the projector behind you there.
Hey, thank you.
Just really cool. And to know you're using our camera to do it. I just wish you guys were remotely controlling the camera. That would have been the ultimate.
That'll be next time. Hopefully I get to go to Leipzig again. That would be a great encore to do it that way as well.
Yeah, we'll have to hook you up with that. I mean, there's a million different ways to do it. They could have remoted into your Macintosh. There's a lot of different ways we could have sliced that cat, but that's a big topic of interest that people keep asking. How can I just put this camera in the world, plug it into a network, and remotely log into it, control it, and basically be a cameraman from, New York City, cameraman for everybody else in the world, or whatever they want to do. So let's talk a little bit about the Tech Buzz. I know you're like a co-host there. He does the rebroadcasting, which maybe you can elaborate on. I actually just streamed it to YouTube and Facebook now, but just YouTube and just Facebook, not at the same time, because that is against the rules. And we're now going to be live broadcasting on Facebook on Mondays as kind of like a post recap show for this show. Just so that we're abiding by the rules. We don't want to be breaking Facebook's rules. We want to be a honorable business that's doing playing by the book. But tell us about the Tech Buzz and what you guys do, because I think it's really incredible.
Yeah, Steve. I mean, I'm just frankly, I'm honored. Stephen and I kind of hooked up about a year ago. I saw him. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Got to know him through a service called Blab, a defunct service that was a video broadcasting service.
Yeah.
But he does 2 shows a week, where he's actually relaunching next week. Mondays, the weekly roundup, which is a tech roundup news show. And then Tuesday evenings, Broadcast Now, which is a broadcast centered show. And we talk high-end broadcasting and what you need to do there. So yeah, Steven is the gold standard in my opinion, and I know he gets tired of me saying that, but he's inspiration for what I do on BTS Live, Behind the Scenes Live, my show. And so if you want to know broadcasting and technology, Steven is definitely one of the leaders in that area as far as knowing how to do it at a high level, and all the distribution and all that stuff that goes along with it. Paul, all that tech stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He uses 2 of our PTZOptics cameras, and for one guy, he's got 2 of them. I don't know exactly why he needs 2. I only use 1 here, but actually I have 5. But that's because I have to use a different. But he's incredible, and I learned a lot from him. That watching him is really how I kind of built this show. And and a lot of people, when they come see what I'm doing here, they don't realize that I've been watching Steven the whole time. I've been watching some of your shows, Marty, even Tom Sinclair's show, Streaming Idiots, for years now. And then finally, it's not that hard to put this stuff together yourself, and that's kind of been our message is, let's help people set up these small, whether it's an in-house broadcast studio for a corporate place or, a church that can just set up 1 camera on a small budget, whatever it ends up being, the market is absolutely exploding.
Yeah, I mean, and also, as you mentioned, you can start very simply and kind of iterate. I mean, that's sort of like my goal is I never want to stop iterating. I never want to stop getting better. Steven makes it look very easy being a one-man show, but that's over a period of years to make it look like that. That's kind of our goal. And I know it's with you too, with your shows. You make it look like it's easy, but I know you're controlling everything, and I know what you're going through, and it's not so easy, but you make it look like that. But the tools are available to do that if you put the work in and want to and learn the technology, certainly. So
let's talk a little bit about this booming live streaming industry. I just had a meeting with my sales team, and I said, "Hey guys, who's buying all these cameras? There's a lot of people buying them. I don't know. I don't talk to them. I just do the marketing." And they said it's a ton of churches, just a ton of churches out there who want to start live streaming. There's corporations who are saying, they used to have 20 conference rooms. Now that one conference room is just for live streaming, making videos. They put a green screen in there. They put a nicer camera, nicer microphones, and they don't meet in there anymore. They just produce videos. So just things are changing. Just tell me what you're seeing out there, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the same thing now. Now, I agree with houses of worship and conferences and that type of thing. Also, seeing a lot with my area, we work with a lot of marketers, and they're certainly getting into it. And what's great is you have these services out there now that allow people that are just beginning to at least get their feet wet and get on the air. And that's Stephen and I talk about that a lot in our shows. Is just starting. Right, that's the biggest hurdle, and a lot of these services out there, and I can name, I'm not going to name all, go through them all, but you can go and use WebRTC style services that are all in browser. You can do what you're doing, Paul. You're combining different tools, but again, it used to take. I spent 19 years at ESPN before I started my company PodJam TV. So I come from the TV world. And I can tell you, no longer do you need millions of dollars worth of equipment to go live. You have the internet. The internet's the big equalizer. The bandwidth is available. The technology's there. The quality of the cameras. I mean, PTZOptics cameras. When I got mine, when you sent me mine, I mean, I was just amazed at the quality of the sensors and the quality of the picture that you're able to get, and not only the convenience of having the PTZ control, but it's within reach of everybody. It used to be millions. Now is, to do high-end production, now it's just thousands, I mean, or even just a webcam and a microphone on your computer. So I see this, and we were talking about the graph earlier. We're just getting started. I mean, it's available to people. It's a great communication tool. Basically, every company, and we're seeing this with our clients, are becoming media companies because you can get your message out. And video, like we're doing here, I mean, versus when social media first came out, just text, this is way better. You can see everything. You can see the inflections. You can see the emotion in people, and it's a full communication, tool, really. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw our show on Easy Live, but the one thing that I know a lot of people were gravitating towards is that, yes, the streamers, we can stream, but the thing that we're missing is the newsroom, right? So coming from news, like we don't have 8 people working on, a live broadcast. We've got like a guy like me or a guy like Steven or a guy like you going out there, maybe bringing in a remote participant. But with Easy Live, I don't know if you've seen what they do. In addition to restreaming your service to multiple destinations, they allow like operators from all around the world to come in the cloud, and now you can have your social media guy in Spain, wow. And literally live, your social media guys can take a 30-second clip from your stream, post it to Twitter. Like during a 2-hour stream, they could be downloading, DVRing, posting, and then you could have a guy doing APIs. You can have your tech guys, you can have your social guys, you can have your live show guys, and literally all of it can be managed in the cloud. So remote dispersed participants and things. So now even the streamers are getting their newsroom style of teamwork video production as well. So it's
I can tell you, it's funny because it sounds like a cloud-based control room. I mean, I come from the control room days. ESPN, an average control on ESPN, maybe an average sports center, you have 15 people involved. Easily. That's minimum. Cameras, control rooms, audio mixer, all the stuff. Producers, directors, and they all have to be in the same place. It's one room. But you raise a very good point with the internet and with IP technology and cloud-based technology. A lot of these function. You can still have your team, which is very, very important. I mean, I highly recommend if you're going to do a production. It's hard to do it by yourself. So if you can have a team, that's great. But the cloud kind of facilitates that. You're no longer limited by physical location, which is a phenomenal step forward.
So we're almost at our 20-minute limit. So we want to briefly say anything about the cameras. You know, we showed them. You already actually gave us a glowing review of your Leipzig, Germany trip. Maybe we should just jump right into the future. You know, what can we expect from you, Marty, in the next couple of years?
Oh my goodness! I mean, more and more video. I mean, live, produced. I mean, that's what we're seeing in our business. We're seeing that people are now approaching us, even current clients that know they need to do video, maybe putting it off, and it's scary to do it, you know, but they realize that, you know, they have to get out there and they have to get on camera, and that, you know, it's a great marketing tool. The other thing I'm seeing is the push for quality. Mm-hmm. So I always say, you know, it's a combination of quality content, presentation, and production. And early on, when they first start, you know, Periscope first came out from the phone, there is a place for that from the phone, especially in a breaking news situation. But ultimately, with the amount of video being produced, it's going to come down to quality. I see what you're doing here with the show. It looks like a news show. It looks like a TV show. I think that's going to be the trend. And there's also going to be the phone video as well. There's always going to be a place for that, but it's kind of two parallel tracks. But quality, I think people are going to demand it. I think they're going to step up to the plate. And for folks like us that are video producers, I mean, I think the future's bright. You know, I mean, I'd much rather be behind the camera and doing the controls than being on camera. That's kind of my home base. But we see it coming just in the past several months. I mean, it's really, the demand is there, and I think people are realizing they need to be able to produce high quality content to really get their message across.
Cool. Well, let's talk about this a little more in the post show. I'm going to run the credits, and everybody stick around. I want to answer your questions.